Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer Denny.
And this morning, we're going to talk about some of the things going on in the advertising world. And this is really Jennifer's happy place.
Yes, of course. I love ads. That's what I do.
But I think you wanted to start with some of the changes in advertising and where Google is. But to understand that, you've got to understand, I think, some of the dynamics that have changed.
Yeah, I want to talk about performance max campaigns, but I want to talk about how we got there. If you're not following marketing underscore humor at Instagram, he, she, whoever they are is hilarious. You've got to follow. So they came out with this meme here, and you've got Meta on the ground and TikTok and Google and Snapchat just, pouncing them on the face. And, it's hilarious. But what I think there's a lot of meaning to that meme is, so let's just tell a little story. Google and Apple are best friends because your phone, your iPhone, in order to have Google as the search engine on there, there's a little exchange of $8 to $12 billion a year that is going on. And Apple got a little mad at Facebook on the playground because Facebook was doing really good at audience targeting. So it held them down and introduced this iOS 14. We care about your privacy. Meanwhile, just a side note that Apple actually does connected TV ads and they're tracking you over there, but that's, another story.
Well, but we're protecting you from big bad Meta. We're protecting you from anybody who doesn't play with us.
Yeah, they're like the punching bag right now. And iOS 14 affected all apps, not just Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the bad ones.
No, but the truth is that Facebook is the biggest target. And so I think that that's what everybody was looking at. Facebook has made some horrible moves with privacy. They've made some terrible mistakes. And so that's what everybody is pointing to. So when Apple says, well, we're just not going to share data with Facebook, everybody is on the sidelines cheering, and they're not asking the questions, well, but what are you doing with that data?
Yeah, and we have been collecting data on consumers since the beginning of dawn of time. And so this is not going to go away. In comes Google, all of a sudden is just gloriously good at audience targeting. So what happened?
So obviously, looking from the outside, they're using data. They're using their data, and they're using data from Apple when you're accessing on the phone.
Now that's just a conspiracy theory right now, but I think I'm right.
But you could be. But whether or not you are, whether it's their own data, whether they're sharing with Apple, I mean, they've always been a little bit spooky when they can tell you who visited your website, and they can tell you gender and interests. So they have their own data as well, but it's allowing them to do something that I never thought would be possible.
Yeah, so we introduce performance max campaigns. This is a new form of campaign in which you can do search, display, Gmail, all of Google's properties, and you are targeting by nothing but audience.
So how is that possible? How do you do search campaigns with no keyword?
Well, so you have to go back, and I will put some articles in here and all the ways that Google can target. So they can target if you've been to a competitor's website, a similar audience, a remarketing audience, your intent. So you've been doing searches for this. You're within this realm of people of audience. Like there's a ton of different targeting. And then they can show you ads no matter where you're at on any Google property.
So as a small business owner, it was overwhelming enough to figure out what keywords I wanted to advertise. And now I can do all of these variables. Where do I start? How do I manage some of this?
Actually, it's way simpler. Rather than doing like all this keyword and research and trying to figure out exactly how somebody is searching, knowing that 15% of all searches on any given day are brand new and have never been done before, just select an audience, upload some creative. Now, it's intended to go side by side with the regular search campaign. They're not ready to go all in with just this. But we had a client that was originally $120 cost per acquisition, like client. We brought it down to 60 with our search campaigns, and then we added Performance Max, and we went down to 20.
Wow. Okay. So this is still this kind of advertising is still not for really small entities. I mean, if you have $100 ad budget, this is not a place you're going to play, because you still need to be in a place where you're ready to spend several $100s a month on advertising, and you're going to do some with traditional search, and then you're going to do some with Performance Max, where you're uploading the creative and letting Google decide.
Automate. It's that automation. It's steering yourself into the direction of automation. You're unlocking audiences. You can choose, once you have set up your desired action, or what we like to call marketing conversion, so form fills, phone calls, you can say, hey, Google, I want more of these people, show them these creatives, and I want them to do this. And that's what it will go and do.
Wow.
Wow. No keywords.
No keywords. It's all about, these are the people I really want to be talking to. And it's so interesting, because that was always the difference between Google Ads and Facebook or any of the social platforms. On the social platforms, you talked to a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
On Google, you were always talking to a group of people who were interested. So you were paying more, but you were very, very focused. And now Google is saying you can do both.
And Google also, there was supposed to be this like removal of, cookies on the website. So that's like dropping this piece of code and saying you've been here and there. And they just said, we're going to wait till 2023 now. But Apple came out and did that to Facebook. So they're like getting ahead right now. Just calling a spade a spade.
So at this point, if I'm looking at shifting my advertising dollars, is there still any reason to be running Facebook ads?
Yes.
Okay.
I have removed some clients from Facebook, and I have kept some clients where the result is at. So again, I'm not looking at the platform that I want to be here or there. I'm using the data, and I'm allocating funds where it needs to be. So yes, absolutely. And you bet your bottom dollar, Facebook has got its smartest people out there trying to, get a workaround. So, and it's not, again, every single app on your phone, TikTok, any of them, LinkedIn, all of them were affected by this. Google was not, because you are accessing Google from the browser on your phone or from your desktop. So that $8 to $12 billion dollars a year that they are paying Apple to have their search engine as a default on the phone is a little dicey there.
So, okay. So bottom line, you're going to need to be thinking about this, but also watching for the next change. I want to say hello to Chella real quick. Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. But you're going to need to be thinking about this and watching, because as you said, Facebook is going to roll out a new or an update to their product, and it may shift the balance again.
Yeah, go back to a previous one we did on native advertisement. I think you should be paying attention there. Remember, the cool kids are going to be TikTok, Google, YouTube, Facebook right now. But there's those like not so cool kids that you can get some really inexpensive traffic and drive that in, and you know Google wants to get YouTube going because they got their YouTube Red, and they're going to be competing with connected TV ads. Like this is where it's going, guys.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to suggest that if people want to know more about Performance Max advertising and really kind of where the next steps in everything on advertising are, you need to check out elevatedmarketing.solutions.
And if you want a DIY, I mean, digitaltoolbox.club has a lot of great information there. I just released and many more to come, course on there on Facebook ad mistakes that you're making. So, yeah.
Well, and I'm going to say that even as we move, maybe away from Facebook right now, a lot of the content in that course is still relevant because it's just good advertising practice that will apply to every platform.
It's what the levers are. You need to know what the levers are.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we will see you next week.